Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends better through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that is my brother,
JR.
And today we are welcoming one of my goodest homegirls, my honorary little sis, Miss Donnia. Hey girl.
Hey girl, hey.
And how about you tell the folks a little bit about yourself, as much or as little as you like to tell?
So I am Donnia. I am in Philly by way of Atlanta. Love music. I make music, and that's the long and the short of it.
And how about you tell the folks what song you picked today, and if you remember the first time you heard it?
So I picked 7 Whole Days by Toni Braxton. And I don't remember the first time I heard it, but I just remember sitting in my little breakfast nook as a kid, and I would have my little boom box on one side of me, and I would be on the phone with these 2 particular friends. And we were all into music. So all the songs that was on the radio, you heard this song, you heard that song, and we would sing. I don't know why, we would just sit on the phone and sing to each other. Sing. And 7 Whole Days ended up being one of those songs that we used to sit on the phone and sing, probably much to all of our parents' chagrin. They probably thought, why they I don't even know the thoughts that was running through their heads, but that's my earliest memory of the song, was just sitting in there with my little boom box singing with my friends.
Yes. So what is one of your favorite things about the record, like the standout part about the record that makes you love it so much?
The standout part, the things that I love about this record are her little vocal affectations, and she does it on a lot of different songs, but the little, and the little growl in her voice, that's always a highlight. And whenever I'm singing the song to this day, you got to go extra hard on there, 7 whole nights, like, you got to hit you got to hit it.
Yeah, and speaking to affectations, like, baby,
Yeah.
You will love it front and center. Okay. Yeah.
It started on the video though, because like I watched a bunch of different live performances and of course the official video. And when I tell you she hit them same marks on everything, the little front and center, the little shoulders.
You could have had about anything you wanted, but you messed it up. Ooh, you had to be tough.
Yeah.
Y'all funny like what? Because y'all know that performance that Whitney do. And it was on 94, and she was in Italy, and she was like this young girl, and she was kind of not making fun of Toni, but she was like, she liked how she do it, and she was like, I just can't say it about she said she loved that about her. You know what I mean? That was Toni's,
Nobody else sounded like that. Nobody else sounds like that. That's her signature.
Yeah.
So, the way Michael had his little hee-hees and his shamans, like that's the little growl and that's Toni's signature, and I love it.
And Babyface said that, well, Toni said she did an interview, that part where she like 7 on like that part. She said she was just being funny in the studio. And Babyface was like, okay, I'm gonna keep this in. Play with me if you want to. Like, you gonna play with me if you want to. All right, I'm gonna keep that in. Okay.
Right. Oh man, that's funny. I wonder if she gets a little laugh every time it comes up or every time.
Probably does. Probably does.
And then, and like one of my favorite parts of the song, the bridge.
Deep in my heart, you were number one star. Yes. The fact that, man, I miss songs having a bridge.
Oh my God.
You know, these new songs, they don't be having no bridges.
Mm-mm.
We used to live for the bridge, and that's a really good bridge.
Yes.
Like, it tied everything together, set it up for the high note. Tell me how. Man.
Right, at least it's all of that. Like it's all of
it's
all of that.
It's a drama, you know.
Told your friends that you were running things.
It was, and you know when I actually first heard this record, right? I felt like it was this. It kind of, you were able to play it with what was hot then. You know, like how hip hop was really becoming mainstream during this time. This song it was a ballad, a kind of ballad-ish, a mid-tempo, but it was still, it had a groove to it. Like it had a little bop to it. That's why I like it.
You're right.
Which is amazing for a song like that to get through, because it's sung so blues, you know. She's singing it like a blues / jazz singer mashed up together. Like, I mean, which was Toni's thing, really, period. Kind of, you know, that reminiscent of, you know, like Anita Baker style. It's jazzy, bluesy.
Right. And I just love how they put in the video, they kind of, because it was street. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, just the part that y'all saying on the bridge, you were running things. Like, that was the way we talked. So it was able to connect.
Kind of cocky, like you had it going on.
Yeah. Like, you were able to, if we were able to connect, it's like, yeah, girl, that's what it is. Like, so I love the part in the video where you got the girls at the Jeeps, because you know the Jeeps was the thing. And
oh my God.
In the video, you got the girls rocking by the Jeep to the record. Like it added that, it gave it that swag that you needed. You know what I mean? Because I was just like in our video that we just did with Law, and we were talking about Janet and how her change from That's the Way Love from what she was doing, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis kind of changed the style with That's the Way Love Goes. You could tell Babyface and them realize, wait a minute, we can't be doing this new jack either. So if you think about this record, it really sounds very hip hop production type. That's why a lot of people doing that it was able to be on these playlists, because we know radio stations have a playlist and this is what they do. And you can put it so you can hear That's the Way Love Goes and then play 7 whole days right behind it. Like
behind it.
It works.
Yep. It totally does. You're right. Absolutely right.
It was this thing that I saw too on online. It was a couple of years ago where somebody did a review of 7 whole days, and they said they felt like this was the closest that they can get, that Toni got to Anita, in like that Anita vibe. They said this is the record. And I wanted to ask y'all, do y'all agree with that?
You know, that's a funny statement considering what we know about Love Should Have Brought You Home. How that was supposed to be Anita's song. And I don't know that I feel an Anita vibe from 7 whole days. Honestly, it's more because of everything that you just said, because it is, even though it's a very sexy, sultry song, I just don't, I want to say maybe the subject matter and maybe the production, it just does not, it doesn't give me Anita.
See, I feel opposite.
Anita can do whatever she wants, but
it gives the reason it gives me Anita, like, keep the same arrangement, but like change the production, like, you know, take some of the drums down and all that. I get Anita in the ad libs, the way she's ad libbing it. I could hear, but especially like how can we go? I can't sing, but like the end, like all them ad-libs she's doing after the bridge. That feels very Anita, like just kind of running, just kind of almost scatting, almost, like that's what gives me the vibes, but not the whole song itself, but the way she ad-libs and the little rest.
True, especially in the that little breakdown. Like in the breakdown in the record version, not the radio version, because the part that they cut off. But in the record version, I can see more Anita in that little breakdown, a little minute or however it was. But the song overall, I don't know. I might have to take another listen.
When she's doing a 7 day, like that. You close your eyes for a second, you be like, oh, Toni. Just in the way they approached it. Like I don't think their voices sound the same. They're just like in that same register, but I don't think their voice sound the same. But in that moment, I was
right. That I can see that specific line for sure. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And Toni in that song enunciates more than Anita would. So like Anita, now the nights, I don't think that doesn't give me Anita, but the second half of the song gives me very Anita. Yeah. That's me,
I'm gonna listen to it with this in mind and see, if my opinion changes.
That's how I do JR. Well, he'll agree with me. And I'm like, no, let's cut song. And I know JR in his head be like, I done listened to this song 1,000 times. But then sure enough, he'll be like, okay. He'll either agree or be like, I see why you think that. He might not necessarily agree, but yeah.
Most of the time I agree with you. I'll be like, yeah, sis, you're right. I'll be like, yeah, you're right. I get it. I see. Yeah. And now I think about every time I listen to it, I'll be like, how the hell I didn't catch this? And at least caught it and I didn't.
Click.
Yeah. JR get me too. The way I re-listen, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
The thing I love about listening to stuff over and over, just, because you always are gonna, no matter how many times you listen to it before, you're always gonna pick up on some little element,
right,
in the track, whether it's in the vocals, whether there's a lyric that you didn't really pay attention to that much before. There's always gonna be some little thing like, oh shoot.
Facts. Yes.
That was the when, and then I always think about, because the second single of this was Breathe Again, right? So when I heard that, when she would do that, I was like, they really taking this Breathe Again a little bit too far. Are we not?
Like we really out here breathing.
Yes, yo. Because at the end of Breathe Again, she does.
Yeah, the little exhale.
Yeah, so then I'm like, oh, so the third single, you just hear her. I'm like, oh, they taking this breathing thing for real. Like, this ain't no joke.
Quite literally.
Yes. Oh my God. But yeah, this song is, man, and I love the album version because it's 6 minutes long. And like y'all said, musically, it is kind of like an Anita Fairy Tales, because you see how Fairy Tales at the end ride musically for like 2 minutes with no words, no nothing. The same thing.
And they was just in the studio getting it.
Just getting it.
Yeah, that's my favorite Anita song, Fairy Tales.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right. That is your
and it ain't even close.
Yeah. That's a gem.
I love when you say that. It ain't even close.
and sometimes they would play the full version on the radio. Like it was kind of half and half. Like it depended on what time of day it was.
Right. You're not gonna hear it like, in the afternoon little
Nah.
But you catch that quiet storm, yeah. You always gonna get a nice full length, no cuts.
Yeah.
Shoot, I love how the song begins. It begins with the background vocalist. It just come boom, 7 whole days.
It just hits you right out the gate.
Yes, like like Keisha Jackson, Millie Jackson's daughter. is singing background on this. So
oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
like
For a long time, I thought it was her sisters because they're in the video.
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And because, you know, they used to sing back up for her on other stuff. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, wait, that ain't the
Right. Yeah, because I don't think we got the album until the beginning of 94. We didn't get it in 93. We got it in 94. So again, when this video comes out, you're like, oh, her sister's doing background for that's dope.
right.
But then you look at them
And
liner
you
notes,
the
it's like, well,
liner
wait a
notes,
minute. I'm like,
like
well,
who that is?
the sister name ain't Keisha. There ain't no Pamela. Who is these girls? Like, what is these? I'm like, I know Keisha Jackson. That's Millie Jackson's daughter. Like, she ain't in the video though. So what the hell is this?
Yeah,
So,
I had to look that one up. It's because they were already on tour together when
okay.
she was filming the video. Yeah, when she needed to film the video. So
And it makes sense because if you look at a live performance they did back in while she was on tour, they wearing them same blue dresses.
Yep. The little velvet. What is that, velvet?
They still wearing them joints. So it makes sense. They was on tour. They like, Toni, we need to sing. We need the single about to come out. We need this video. Y'all come and do this quick video. We gonna be in the club? They was in the club, right?
Yeah, they were in a little like a jazzy night.
Like a little smoky jazz club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it said, so it was some kind of it said radiothon. I remember seeing that image and her mic, Toni's mic said on air across the top of it. So I guess that was kind of a cute little vibe, a cute little story they were telling. Yeah. And then it was in contrast to the street scenes that you were talking about with the Jeeps and the girls bopping.
Yeah, I that's my favorite part of the video because it gave it that little hip hop swag kind of thing. Because they ain't wearing the dresses and stuff Toni wearing. She wearing an 8-ball jacket with braids in her hair, and jeans and some Timbs. Like it was a whole different swag. But again, the production gave it that. So it was like you put that in the video.
But one little piece that always cracks me up is when she's flipping the days on the calendar and you see 7 and then like later on you see 19 and I was like, girl, I know you ain't still sitting there waiting on that boy to call. I might be reading into this too much, but we said 7 and then 7 is pushing it.
Especially with the fact that I'm like, yo, how Babyface be writing these songs, yo, like
churning them out.
Oh my God.
So speaking of Babyface, one of the reasons I'm so glad you picked this song is our show, we always talking about some sort of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis thing. Yeah. And I don't think we've really talked about any Babyface on the show at all.
Nope.
Not on either show.
I think the only time we talked about, I think Elise did like a word association for somebody and she did Babyface. But somebody did pick a Babyface joint, Brina, but it wasn't but but it was Babyface himself. But I mean, like Babyface written or produced. No,
we haven't.
Okay.
Yeah,
we haven't done any LaFace. Nothing.
Nope. Oh my goodness.
I was like, that's why I was shocked. Like
Which is crazy because how much we love Babyface, the artist, and Babyface,
and how prolific he is. When you think, I mean, shucks, that's my whole childhood right there.
We did a whole
Babyface and LaFace, like that's my whole everything I love about 90s R&B is Babyface and L.A. Reid. Period.
It's crazy because I think everybody knows that we love Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Hey Jimmy, but we did like a 3-hour live about how much we love Babyface, and everybody was in there. So I'm thinking when we doing this, I'm like, somebody going at least pick Can We Talk? Like I'm waiting. Ain't nobody.
Nobody picked Can We Talk?
No.
Nobody's picked a Tevin song, period.
And that thing there, that thing Elise there. Anytime we get a chance to talk about Tevin, just with our last episode, she asked Laura about I'm Ready. Like, there's a way Elise can bring Tevin in. It's
gonna work.
So I like with Babyface, I'm like, well, damn, y'all, like, nobody's gonna pick Can We Talk? Nobody's gonna pick nothing from Toni. Like, I'm waiting, like.
Oh, nah.
And so when I saw 7 whole days, I was like, oh, we finally got Babyface. We finally got
It made me happy. We got Babyface and we got Toni all at the same time.
Yes.
And what's funny, I didn't even think about it. I was driving home one night, and you know how you have to have your riding music. You gotta have the right music. And I don't know what kind of headspace I was in, what kind of mood I was in, but I just really wanted to belt. And I was like, you know what? Let me put on this Toni album. And you know, I had my little windows down because I'm trying to stay awake. And 7 whole days come on, and it was just a whole concert. It was people walking. I'm sure they was like, what is happening? I was loud. Behind the wheel now. I'm driving, and I'm like, 7 whole days.
But see, the difference is they probably enjoyed it singing because you are a singer, like a for real singer. And child, they get all kind of squawks and growls and
don't get me and Elise together now.
Tomato.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Yes, because I know
Ooh, like this man.
like when when Elise come to my house, I know my neighbors be like, oh Jesus. Because we and her be all off key, like we don't care.
Till like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Oh,
and drunk. So imagine all that together.
Oh,
with the door open and all that. They know when Elise here. They know for sure when Elise here because the first song we start with is obviously Shalimar. So they like, oh, she's here.
And so it begins.
Yeah.
You can take that to the bank. Yeah.
But ain't that, oh my God, her album is so flawless, man. Like, it's just, like, it's everything about it is flawed. I said when it comes to 90s, that album is literally top dog when it comes to 90s debuts. Like,
you're not skipping a single track. You are letting that album ride.
I was listening to it this morning. My neighbors probably was enjoying it as well. And, and I was like, yo, the way it starts and then it just flows. Like, it's a floater. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not trying to change no song. And again, when it gets to 7 whole days and it just comes in, boom. And it's like, oh yeah, we singing that.
That's you're not skipping any tracks, but I think 7 whole days is the part where I always go back. I'd be like, I got to hear that again.
Yeah,
I got to hear that again.
Yeah, my 2 favorite songs on the album are 7 whole days and How Many Ways.
Oh yeah.
Let me count from 1 to 10.
Those 2 kind of switch are my favorite, but it's those 2 are my favorite. Well, those are my favorite Toni songs. Period. Like, but it goes back and forth between those 2 because it's another belting song.
You're right. My 2 top songs on the album are, of course, 7 Whole Days and Love Should Have Brought You Home.
Yeah.
She met,
and I'd be like, yeah.
She meant every single word of that song. Never before or never since has anybody meant the words to a song the way Toni meant them words. She sang that song harder than she ever sang anything.
But to think that because watching her, reading her book and her doing her autobiography that Lifetime did, and she set up, Toni ain't never experienced nothing like this. And for her to sing it like this, it was like, well, girl, was you really feeling this before? Like,
where did you pull that from? Like,
yes,
raw emotion.
But again, y'all know that was for the demo for Anita. So it was like, Anita was like, Well, no, keep the girl that's singing on
That's
it.
her song now.
I don't need it. I'm good on the record. It's a nice record, but keep her. She all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep her. Yeah, that, and You Meant the World to Me Too. Anita was supposed to get that too.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yep.
And it's just so weird because I can't even picture it.
I can't either.
I can't even picture it. Oh, you know what's something funny I found out about 7 Whole Days? Why the Whispers did a cover of 7 Whole Days.
Yeah, the Whispers did a whole Babyface.
Babyface.
Yes, they did.
And
I told me about that. Yeah.
I was listening to it, and it does not hit the same. And maybe this is sexist, but it does not hit the same for a man to be singing that song. It was giving very much Abandoned Sugar Daddy, like it was not. I was sitting there listening, and I was just like,
I'm trying to think, but it's one song on that Whispers that I love to cover. Not that one, but
Yo, sis said not that one.
Because I mean, I don't want to hear nobody doing Toni.
That part, because who can master it? Like once it's done, once she has done something, that's just it. She lays that track down. Man, I don't even think she probably don't even need to do multiple takes. Like
probably not. That's why Whitney said that little young thing. I just love thinking about. She said that's hers.
Something about the way my life beats. So every time a Toni Braxton song comes on in the car, actually I do this with Anita Baker too. If me and Jamil are together, I start doing their affectations, and he just looks and presses. He changes. Why can't you just sing the song regular? That's how she's singing it. I'm singing it like she's singing it.
Yeah. That's her nuance. That's her. That's when you know a Toni record, when she do the Toni-isms. If that's, you know what I'm saying? That's her stick. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And Tamar got it down.
Oh,
imitating.
Oh my God. When she did You Mean the World to Me, and she was, oh my God, that was funny. She was,
with her.
Yo, and Toni did this. Toni was like, right. Like,
but she can't say nothing because it's true. She be doing all of that. She has her little, the mic stand. She be doing her little sultry, and she be hitting her little growls in the places where she hit, and that's Toni. That's why we love her.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna watch that after this. That Tamar, because that was hilarious.
Oh goodness.
And I mean, singing background with her, you can see what she's doing because you're focusing on her. So again, she's seeing all Toni movements. She's seeing everything, and the way she broke that down, I lost it.
Oh man, I love it. I love it.
Well,
what song were you about to tell us, Elise? I'm sorry, I think.
Actually, on that Whisper thing, I like all the songs that they do that are Babyface, the artist, the singer songs. So, like, I like the Whip Appeal. No, and they did Johnny Gill. They did My. I actually like that, their version. Like, now, let me make this point is none of the songs on it sound better than the original, but they sound good.
Yeah.
And they also did Babyface, I Love You, Babe, and I like their version too.
I'm gonna have to listen to that one because I didn't listen to the whole album. I just listened.
But any of the songs that they did that were women covers, no, none of the women ones really, because they did Toni and they did Exhale, Shoot. Why?
Oh no.
Yeah. That don't sound like it would curl around quite.
It didn't curl quite right.
And you know, this is hard for me to say because the Whispers are my favorite male group of all time. Like,
Yeah, that choice
and JR,
made.
guess what? And it what?
I'm not.
Ain't even close.
She
It
got
was pure singing. But yeah.
She get one in every episode. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
You got 2 today.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you for reminding me to say the song. But yes, thank you for hanging out again.
Yes.
Thank you
We
for inviting me again.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you know, we love to talk about music with our friends.
Yes. Yes.
It's what we do.
This was
Well,
fun.
do you have anything going on that you'd like to tell people about? And how can people find you if you want to be found?
I mean, I'm the same everywhere. Donnia is live V. And I have stuff going on. I get fussed at about not telling nobody. My next thing is in Trenton on the 18th. But yeah, I'm out here singing and stuff.
She out here. Yes. And a beautiful voice you have. Yes. I seen you on the Facebooks.
The books of faces.
Yeah. Singing and things. I was like, oh, look at my boobs. But yeah. But we thank you. We also thank all the viewers that tuned in today, and you know, share, subscribe, like, let people know that you think would like to see conversations like this. And yeah, so we'll catch y'all on the next episode of Catch That. Peace. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that is my bro,
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives. And today we are welcoming back an old pal and friend of the show, Victor. Hey, friend.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, JR?
What's up? What's up?
Man, I'm good. Happy to be here again. Thank you for inviting me back.
Yes.
I think I got a good one for y'all.
Yeah. So how about you tell the folks, if they didn't catch your last episode, just in a nutshell, who you are, and then we'll jump into things.
Victor Jones. I live in New Jersey. Just moved to Orange, New Jersey, on the other side of Newark. Work in New York City. Family in Jersey. You know, just a music lover. I'm a big hip hop fan, but I'm a bigger R&B fan. So that's why I'm here again. Because R&B is my jam. So.
Right. And how about you tell us what hot fire you picked today to talk to us about, and when you remember first hearing the song?
So the song I chose is Monifah's "Lay With You" off of her debut album. You know, I remember when she hit with the joint with Heavy D and you know, so what did you say? Well, I forgot how you did the intro and all that, but like I was like, yo, I really fuck with her. I'm waiting for her album to drop. And at the time, me and my boy, his name is George, still one of my dogs I talk to every day to this day. We were in college, and he was like, "Man, you think the album gonna be good?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. You know how we do. We go to the record store, we check it out." So I went, did a run through of the CD, and I was like, "Yo, this shit sounds official." And I heard "Lay With You," and the first thing I heard was that trumpet, I believe, or that horn. And I was like, "Okay, I got to check this one out. I'm buying it, but I got to check this record when I get to the crib." And so I told him I told George I bought the record. And so when I got back to the crib, he's like, "Let me know what you think, man." So I ran through it, and I got stuck on "Lay With You." And I have a really bad habit. I think I said this the first time I came on your show. Like, I would put a song on repeat for hours. Like, it is just, I do repeat and let it ride for hours. And that song, I never got past "Lay With You" on that track for like 2 days. I didn't make it to the rest of the record for like 2 days, maybe 3. And I called him like, "Yo, dog, the CD is dope, but like this shit right here though, man, like she is now one of my favorite vocalists just off the strength of this song, because I feel like between that and Jesus is Love, and I might be blasphemous because I'm from the Bible Belt, but I do not like gospel music, right? I don't like gospel music. My grandmother played that shit to death growing up, and I just never liked it because I thought that a lot of people that sang it couldn't sing, and it was annoying to me. So I didn't like it. I still don't like gospel, but I heard Jesus is Love, and then I heard this, and I was like, yo, she's insane. But particularly, and my cousin Sherman, he loved Jesus is Love. Like, he sang that shit. Yeah. But I was like, Lay With You, and like her vocals, realizing she sang the background vocals on it, and that high note she hit. It was just an amazing song that to this day is one of my favorite songs to play, and I consistently play that all the time. And I've been playing it since we talked about it too, JR. So, but yeah, that's why I love that song. And I was in college, and this song was a staple. I used to make, so me and Joy used to make mixed CDs and give them to our friends and sell them to other people. And I usually made all the R&B mixes, and this was like a staple on there. And I arrange my songs where it's like a gradual message of what you're trying to get done that night. And this was towards the end of every CD, like, hey, Nick, trying to lay with you, what's up? So, yeah, so this song was always on every one of my mix CDs. That was like, if you're trying to get the mood right, like, this was towards the end of every one. It was like, about to get popping. So, but yeah, man, like, amazing records, in my opinion, and one of the slept on records. I don't really know a lot of people that talk about it. So that's me.
Yeah, because I hadn't listened to this album in whole in a long time. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of have forgot about that song. I mean, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, that's what that, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I had, and it's a shame I haven't revisited this album because it was a very good album.
Yeah, man.
Very good album. Yeah.
And she had some good records on there. She had, but this record, that was my joint, man. Like, yeah. To this day. So.
And I think I think with this album, the singles were so good. I was stuck on the singles, and I didn't revisit the album as much as I kind of should have.
Those singles are huge.
Yeah, like you had me in a chokehold. It still do.
Yeah.
And that's not have me in a. You hear me?
Yeah, man. But yeah, man.
Especially the pen on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, so especially the pen on you, the lyrics, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you teasing, J.R.? Because you want to talk about the horns, baby? You want to talk about the horns? Aw, that's adorable.
I hate her. I hate her. No, I love this song. Yes, the horn is, but what bugged me out was when Victor was like, yo, I want to come back on the show. And I was just like, yo, so when he said, yo, lay with you, I lost my mind. Even through the DM, I lost my mind. I think I put to him, oh my God. Like, because nobody talks about this song, or even, I think, like you said, since the songs were so big, like You and I Miss You, all those were big records. So nobody really talks about like album cuts. So for me, I'm thinking maybe Victor might go with something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know like Lay With You was gonna be it. So I thought maybe he would have went to like Everything You Do, or You Got My Heart, or something like that. You know what I mean? Especially after we've done the episode with him on The Secret Garden. So I was like, all right. But then I had to think about it. I was like, the horn is going nuts on that record. So I was like, Lay With You would make so much sense with this. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like that horn just coming in. Like, that's a damn French horn. Like, that ain't no regular playing horn. That's some French horn playing on that joint. And shout out to Wayne Cobham, because he played on Dangerous. He played on Michael's History album. Like, he's dope. So I feel like you said, Victor, it's like a duet between her and the horn. It's a duet, yo, and she sounds so sexy on it to me, like, because it's definitely on a playlist of mine. And and with that, it's just like, and then to know that Heavy D wrote the record, that's what, and then he wrote it. So it was like, yeah, everybody think these hip hop dudes is like always so hip hop. Like Victor said in the beginning, I love hip hop, but R&B is, I love it more. And Heavy D is an R&B lover. Like he loves it. Like we did our episode with Grab, and when he came on the show, his cousin, and he was like, yo, when Heavy D had got Guy's album, and he played that all the way to from New York to freaking Howard and back. Like that was all he played. Now, mind you, this is 88. You could be playing Rakim, Slick Rick, all this, and you're playing Guy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this song displays how much of an R&B head he is. You know what I mean? And then he's just letting Moni, and come to find out, he's also singing background on the record.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. I thought she was singing that herself, but if you listen to some of them backgrounds, you can hear Heavy on it. Like, just pay close attention. So when I looked at the liner notes, I said, oh, Heavy is on it. Because I remember telling you, I was like, yo, she did her own background, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
so when I went to listen to the joint again, and I'm looking at the liner notes, I'm like, oh shit, Heavy D on this joint singing background. So when I'm listening to it, I'm like, I can hear him. I was like, I hear him. I hear him on it. You know what I mean? And she just sounds so beautiful on this record, vocally, like everything. That's why this is a perfect record. And I want so much more people to know about this, man, because it's like such a beautiful record. Yes, I'm a horn lover. I love horns. Yes. But at the end of the day, it's just a beautiful song. You know what I mean? And you can throw that on a playlist, and it started off, like you said, when you got that playlist, you know what's happening with each of these songs. And she let you know, hey, this is where it started. I just want to lay with you. It's like, all right, we there. And then take it from there. Now, look, if nothing don't happen with you on this record, something wrong with you. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh. And going back to your point when you're talking about like hip hop dudes loving R&B, when you think of like some of our biggest rappers, like they'll tell you that R&B is their love. Like, think about, or funk or whatever, think about Snoop, think about Raekwon, think about Ghostface, like, and a million others. That's just like the big examples. Like they'll say that in a heartbeat. That's what they rock out to.
And if you think about a lot of their records, they sample a lot of old school R&B records for the joints they rap over. And it's like, you don't just, you don't per chance just run across this. Like, this is in your lexicon of music that you listen to. And I've talked about how much I listen to R&B. Like, that when I make my playlist, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm making a playlist, R&B playlist. Like, that's what hits my head to make a playlist. Like, I think I made a Raheem Devine playlist not too long ago. And I was just like, you know what? Because I'm a big Raheem Devine fan too. And I really love his mixtape stuff, probably more than I love his actual official album releases. But he has a lot of amazing album releases too. But he got like a really dope shit in his mixtapes. But yeah, like, I'm always, like, my mind is all, I got a homeboy of mine, his name is Robert Ford. If you go on my Spotify playlist, you'll see I follow a lot of his playlists. But we go back and forth with the R&B joints. Actually, man, I think he'd be somebody cool for y'all to talk to as well. He does a playlist with one of his homeboys. I forgot the name of it, but I'll send it to you. He's one of those guys where I quote him. He said, I listen to music like people watch TV.
Oh, that's like, me. That's totally me.
Yeah, he, like, 95% of his time is listening to music. That's what he does. Like, if I don't keep up with music like I used to as far as the new releases, I would just hit Rob, like, yo, Rob, what's new out? Shoot me some shit. Like, he's heavy on, what's the guy name that kind of has the 90s throwback music now? Devin Morrison. He's heavy on
I
Devin.
love Devin Morrison.
I love him too, yeah. And he's big on Division. He's big on them as well. He put me on Joyce Rice and cats like that. Like, yeah, y'all would have a wonderful conversation, man. I'm gonna definitely link y'all. But nonetheless, like this record, man, like this is like part of the soundtrack of my college years. And I wasn't shit in college. I was a hoe. So this shit, like, you come to my room, man, like, hey, I ain't shit. We ain't here to talk. Like,
Don't talk, just listen.
music come on. You know what it is. Like, shit, I hung out with my homeboys, but when I dipped on them dudes, like, I was going to handle some business. I was like,
I hear that.
Man. And I always had my music with me because I had my CD Logic in my backpack with my CD player and the headphones. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then that's why I started doing mixtapes. I would mix CDs because I was like, instead of bringing all these CDs, I put all my favorite joints on one CD. And then we just went from there and started making mixed CDs, and people asked me to borrow my joints and all that. And I was like, here's a mix CD. Like, boom, 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 boom. And then people started, asking me on campus. So, but this record was like, and I had a lot of homies that would hear this record and be like, yo, I ain't even listened to it. Like, I got her album, and I don't listen to the song because the other records are so big, and they just never really locked in on this particular record. But out of all the joints on that album, this is my, like, 9 times out of 10 when I listen to this album, it would just be this song.
Nice.
It's not because I don't like the rest of the record. It's just like, I'm here for this record. Like, that's what grabbed me when I first bought the record, and that's what I've been stuck on since, So it's been, what, 20, 25 years since this record dropped?
Yeah, because
96.
Yeah, and her voice is amazing, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, so, yeah, man. So, Monifah, and I bought all her records that she released. So,
I think this album really got put under the radar because of, because I mean, the singles were big. You know what I'm saying? It's chart wise. If you look on the charts, I mean, you did better than I Miss You, and I Miss You is her signature record. You know what I mean? But you did better. But I think, again, a lot of this song went under the radar because of the time we was into. Because, again, I think what makes me mad about this album, because this album is amazing, but I think she was part of Uptown. You know what happened with that. It was like Uptown was going completely under by this time. This was 96. Hev was he was the president. So, sometimes when the artists become the president, they don't know how to move and do all that. So he was her A&R. He did everything. And then again, you got to think, I Miss You kind of sounds like Mary J. All Night Long in a way. So it's kind of like everybody looking at her like, oh, you remind us of Mary. So here we go with that. And she's getting, like, I hate it when I see, like, it's this thing on YouTube. It sucked. And I saw, they was like, Mary J. Blige clones. And it was like Faith and Monifah and what's her name? What's the girl that Mona Lisa and all these girls, because it was like they came after her. And I was like, vocally, we're not even gonna go there with Monifah and Mary. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not, like, Monifah sings her ass off. You know what I mean? And having heard her doing a demo for somebody else and was like, yo, she's too dope to be doing demos, yo. Like, and he told her, next week we're gonna start doing your album. She said, excuse me? She was like, the next week we're gonna start doing your album. That's how talented he saw she was. And I just wish this album, because after you said it, Victor, I was listening to the album my damn self at work. And I was like, yo, this album was so great. Why did it go under the radar? But again, this is 96 and R&B was rocking. You know what I mean? So it was like, R&B was so mainstream. It was some people that just didn't get the respect that it deserves. You know what I mean? And this album was just great. So, like you said, Jesus is love and all that. Oh. And
I think back then for artists to stay, I mean, think about Mary, like how she's still relevant to the culture today. Like, it was difficult you had to have the right, everything had to fall in place outside of the music for you to still be relevant in that time frame, much less to get to today and still be relevant. And I think that, you know, her second record, it had a really good single, but it wasn't as good as this album. But I think it was a good album. It just wasn't amazing as this album. And you know how the labels was back then. If you wasn't putting up those numbers, you know, yeah, they quick to push, go on, you know, and then, you know, and from what I read, she didn't make a ton of money off this album. It all went to heavy.
Yeah.
You know, she was a victim of the game. Like he got played, so he did what happened to him, you know, but she said she never really had any animosity towards him because he put her on, but like he got paid off this record, not her. But like, yeah, just back then, like
because of writing and producing, he wrote and produced most of it.
I mean, and justly so.
Yeah, so if you write and produce it, yeah, you getting coin.
I mean, you can't. He created a great record. He should be rewarded for the hard work. That's the work.
Right.
You know, like, and I think a lot of fans don't really get that as much as they should. Like you got some of your greatest artists of all time who didn't write. They just showed up and sang.
That's real.
You know, and Monifah, he probably was like, I'm writing and producing everything, but at the same time, he delivered. So I can't imagine, but
right.
He delivered. And who knew that his pen game in the R&B joint was that ill though?
I mean, he know how to write. So I mean, he wrote Somebody for Me with him and, you know, Al B. Grab said on the episode, he was like, yo, like Heavy knew how to write a song. You know what I mean? Like you can be a spitter, but you got to also know how to write a song.
He was melodic though, even when he's spitting, he was melodic with it. So you can see him easily transitioning to R&B. Like if you can write a song, you can write a song.
Right.
You know, and so
he wrote
talented guy, man. I miss him in the game, man, that we lost him at such a young age.
Yeah.
But I think he deserves just as much props for this record and this album as she does. But like, man, she got a voice of an angel, man. Like, I love hearing her. Like, yeah, I love hearing her sing, man. So I wish I could see her live. I never saw her live.
I didn't either.
You neither?
Yeah. I didn't either.
So like, you know, but yeah, man, but R&B, man, it's crazy, man. Like I'm starting to see all these R&B parties popping up and craziness all over the place. Like it's coming back, man. Like, and I love it. I love that people, because I missed going to parties where we heard R&B. Like when I was in school in the 90s, like it was a set. It was an R&B set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every time. Like you had your dance set, you had your West Coast set, your East Coast set, your downside, and then you had your slow jam set. And usually it was to close the night out because niggas trying to take something home, you know? So like, she trying to take you home, whatever. And I miss R&B. Like I don't club anymore, but like I don't want to hear in my head all day. Like I like to hear a mix of everything. So to see R&B parties being really popular, because my homegirl told me about the one in Canada, Maria, the one that slow jam party. Her friends throw that. It's super, super popular in Toronto. And then you got the R&B party that's going around there. So
yeah, a few years ago, Skills, I went to one of his parties. He came here, and there was like a slow jam. I can't think of the name of the party, but it was all R&B slow jams. But I'm gonna tell you the problem I have, because I've gone to a lot of stuff that's supposed to be 90s or throwback sets. And the only problem I have with them is you really only want to go to one or two ever, unless it's like the good DJs, like the good like DC DJs and stuff, and but anywhere else in the country, just go to one or two, because if you go to one, it's the same as all the rest. They play the exact same songs. It's so many 90s hits. You don't even have to go. You don't have to go to no deep cuts, but just
you don't.
Just you really don't.
You know. That
just hit the
second and third or fourth string play too, shit, because it's 90, so you're winning, so let everybody play.
Right.
And so before the pandemic hit, are you familiar with Naima off of from she does the what you call it on Twitter? I'm always brain freezing. But Naima,
we know you're talking about,
yeah. So Naima's my homie. So me and her had planned to do an R&B party. Right, and we were going to kick it off for our, like, it's gonna be for our birthday. So her birthday is like April 16th. My birthday is May 15th. So we were gonna do it like May 1st or some shit like that. And then the pandemic hit, of course. And we had like, it's the wild shit. And I don't know if she'll see this, but we were gonna do it at a club in Manhattan. And you would never guess who the DJ was a strong possibility was gonna be. D-Nice.
Oh,
Wow.
I've been to
like,
a nice party here when Ninth used to do throwback parties. But, and this is no shade, but I stopped going to those because I kept, now the night D-Nice was there, oh, he went into some stuff.
Yeah.
But I had stopped going. They were fun parties, but after like the second one, I was like, I don't think I can hear these songs again.
D-Nice, they're good friends, and he was like, I owe you one for your birthday, and we was, it was a strong possibility we were gonna get him. And then when he blew up during the quarantine, I was like,
damn, we ain't never getting his ass now.
No,
you never know though.
That nigga got a club opening in Vegas, so he
oh shit.
He's doing a club quarantine in Vegas. Like, I don't know if it's a club, but I know he's opening a club quarantine, like he did with his traveling joints.
Yeah,
he's doing that in Vegas. I just saw the advertisement because we went to the one in Brooklyn. It was actually pretty dope. I don't really fuck with KRS no more because of all that shit behind it, but that nigga still got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he rocked the stage. Yeah. And we went. My cousin came up from DC with his wife, and we went out there. It was dope. It was in Brooklyn. It was in Prospect Park. But yeah, man. But as far as the R&B parties, I would love to hear deep cuts like "Lay With You" in the parties and not.
Yeah. You might not hear you or I never hear Monifah at those parties.
I know either.
Only like, well, I spent a lot of time in DC. Like the little set with like, DJ Stylist and Jai Sonic and all them. Now when they do something 90s or era themed, whatever, you are gonna get deeper cuts and singles that you don't always hear a lot. You like get that, but I'm telling these little parties in North Carolina and son,
stop it. That's what they need to do. Stop it.
Like, it's just like, it's a handful here and there, but they're not the ones that have the big, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want the ones that are doing the parties consistently to be able to like give you a different set of music when you get there. Like, it's so much 90s music, like you don't have to revisit the big hits all the time. Like,
you really don't.
And everybody, and then like, if I'm a DJ, and I'm not a DJ, but like I got a lot of homies that are DJs, like when I be in the booth with Radar, and that reaction from the crowd when you play a joint they didn't expect, they're like, oh, and then the crowd. Yeah. If you're not doing that, then you need to rethink your set list.
Yeah, and you're not doing your homework. And you're not trusting your audience that they might have forgot about that song, but as soon as they hear the first 5 seconds, so they're like, oh, like you said, oh.
Like JR reaction. Yeah, like JR reaction when I told like he was like, yo, and that's what, and you'll see that in the crowd.
Yeah.
You gotta trust their knowledge of the music. That if they're at an R&B party, you have to take chances and dig deep and throw things out there, because there are a ton of songs that I love, but I probably forgot about and don't listen to now because it's so much music. It's just so much music. So it's like, just trust your audience and like dig deep when you do your set list. Like, say, you know what, I'm gonna take a chance and I'm gonna rock. You can mix in the little hits and shit, but like dig deep and really go in like, yo, get them what they there to hear R&B, bro. Like, not just the top 40 R&B hits of all time. Like,
and that's why D-Nice ended up getting real with this club quarantine, because he was like, when me and my mom and my uncle when he first started this, and I had my Bluetooth connected to the radio, and he was playing these joints, and we all was like, damn, we hear that in a minute. Oh, and it was just like, because again, I went to this, I forgot what it was. It's down here in, what is it? Soundstage. And they did like a 90s type of thing or whatever. And it was the same songs. And I'm like, y'all, like, there's so many 90s joints out here. Y'all don't have to play the same joint. It was like the same Mary joint, the same. They always play the I Want to Be Down. They always play Hey Mr. DJ. They always, it's like, y'all don't have to go here. It's an art, like you said, Victor, it's an R&B party. Take the chance. Okay, we might not like it. Okay, then flip to another one. Eventually, it's gonna catch. We're R&B heads, so we're gonna might not like it, be like, but oh, okay, we'll sing along to this. But you gotta trust yourself, and a lot of them don't. That's why I just
and
like
read the crowd and see if you can go there and like to try to get. That's part of being a DJ and not just somebody that makes playlists, because it's two different arts.
Because let me tell you something. You end of the night, you play Lay With You, oh, you gonna get a reaction out of my black ass. I'm letting you know that now. Like, you gonna hear me over everybody. I'll be like, oh shit. Like, play that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is me. And I think anybody else that's an R&B head and heard that will be like, yo, you didn't go in the deep joint for this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that'll be dope. Yeah. But who am I?
Even like you said, you don't even hear her hits.
No.
Right.
And that's wild.
I can't recall. No.
You remember, because we know what they're gonna play. Like, they're gonna play with anybody that wasn't even born when we was listening, wasn't even around when we were listening in the 90s. They know what records the regular records are. Those are not the ones you play. Like I said, man, if you're at an R&B party, you're there for R&B, and I guarantee those people that are there, most of them at least, they know those deep cut records, because you know, if you pull up a Rome, you play one of his records. I mean, here you play Tank first record. like it's so many songs, like random songs, man. Like you could play, and people like even like a Boyz II Men record, like you're off their first record, you play something other than the, you know, it's just so many records, man. Like people don't listen to. Like, I mean, I don't think they try. I think they think it's easy. It's easy money. It's a thing to do. Cause like even me and Naima, we talked. We was like, we really want DJs who know the art. You know, they know that genre, and they're gonna play the records that are not obscure, but records that R&B heads know, and that they're gonna. And every time you come into our party, we want you to be able to hear a whole different vibe, a whole nother level of R&B that you know, but you may have forgotten about it, you hadn't heard in a while. And it's like, it just gives people that energy, and it makes them want to come back to the party more than twice, like you said. At least, like, you want people to feel like, oh, every time I come here, it's going to be R&B records that I love, but it's not going to be the same R&B records. We just never, you know, pandemic and everything. It was like,
and flip it. Even if to get those songs, if you make a theme, then that at least you'll be able to dig further into whatever that theme, to trying to fit that or something like that. Like, that's crazy.
You know what they get when they walk in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, R&B, man, like, it's been around way longer than hip hop. So you can dig deep in the 90s, man. I would say the 90s and the early 2000s, like, you had so many R&B records.
And then you go to a 90s party and they playing 80s, or they playing early 2000s.
Yeah.
With barely any 90s.
You can't do that. Don't do that.
I'm so confused. I'm hearing these early 2000 records. I'm like, I mean, I'm being a nerd and technical, but you said 90s. And I'm not talking about stuff that came out January 2000. I'm talking about you playing 2003. You know, I'm not being that much of a stickler. You know, if it came out January 2000, hey, go right ahead, throw it in the 90 But damn.
2000. Don't even do 2001, bro. I don't even want to hear 2000. I don't want to hear late 2000. Like,
no,
it's too much music between 1990 and 1999, where we had multiple.
It's a lot of 99 you can keep.
Yeah,
For me,
That part.
Yeah.
99 was a weird year.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
I mean, yeah, it was. But that mid-90s though, stupid. And that was my college years. Those were my college years. And man, that's when Freaknik was popping. That's when, yeah, I was at Freaknik. I was at Freaknik 94, 95, 96.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I graduated in 97, so
Yeah,
I missed that era.
Man,
I mean, it was still going on, but it wasn't the same as people,
94, 95 was the last 2 good years. 96, it was on the downward turn because 96 was when they blocked all the exits and kept everybody on the loop.
Yep.
And then when they joined, 94 was insane. Like, absolutely insane. I remember niggas, when they played Ride That Train, and the entire club got up and did a train around the club for the entire song. Like, entire club, everybody.
I love that.
Like,
I love
everybody.
that.
Yeah, man, it was like insane, man. It was party. Like, matter of fact, when we got into town that night, that Friday night, we got into town, we were on Peachtree, and it was standstill traffic. And we were standing there for like 30, 40 minutes, not moving. My man was like, fuck it. Cut the car off, locked that bitch, and we walked off. And we was gone for like 3 hours. We came back, and everybody's car was in the same spot.
Holy shit.
We went to the club, we hung out, everything. And then we was like, man, let's go back. We talking about not park, in the street. And we came back 3 hours later. Everybody's car that was there, including our car, was still there. I've never seen that like that since.
You best believe you can't do that shit now. Hell no.
Hell no, man. Atlanta was like, they kind of was like, you know what? We can't do nothing with them. We just gonna let them rock during rock out. And then 95 was really good, but it wasn't as good as 94.
Right.
But it still had a blast. And then 96, they was like, had niggas going in loops. And we was like, yeah, we ain't coming back. And then eventually it phased out. But like, yeah, man, like and then like it was so much R&B music coming out. It was crazy. Cause they played a bunch of R&B in the clubs when we was down there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And then I used to go back down there. My cousin lived off of Glenwood Road in Decatur. I think it's Glenwood in Decatur. And I used to go down there and kick it with him. And I used to be like in all the clubs all over Atlanta, and SOs, all those places like that, Arabian Nights. I was in all those clubs. And R&B, you had R&B sets, 112 R&B sets. It was like R&B, man, but I've been an R&B, like I told y'all before, I started out as an R&B head because that's all I heard growing up.
Right.
How they used to a lot of DJs, they would transition kind of from the hip hop into the R&B. They would play like a Biggie set, and then it would kind of taper off into Only You 112, and then it would just kind of go like that was kind of the transition. Mm-hmm. You got Biggie on it, and then like that a lot of times that was or like I Could Love You or something like that. Like they might play a little Kim and then go into that.
Yeah, if it's a remix of an R&B record with a hip hop guest, they transition between, and then next thing you know, you got your R&B sets and
God.
Or they'd be playing hip hop Lost Boys and then go into, like 112 or or somebody else that they was.
Transitions was always like, and then like the thing. Niggas would be like, hey man, they be setting up the slow jam dancers for later, like, hey, when the slow jam hit, I'm gonna find you and we gonna get our little dance. Yeah, man, we used to throw parties at USC when my frat brothers used to throw like some of the biggest parties at South Carolina. We had a ballroom that held like 900. And I remember one night when they were through a party and they put me on the door with the clicker to count. And the white dude that was working for the campus was like, all right, man, when it hit 900, that's capacity. I'm like, all right, bet. Way more than 900 people outside trying to get in. So I was clicking 1 every 10 people. Click, 10 people walk by. Click, 10 people walk by.
Oh, shit.
By the time, at some point, he came like, yo, close the doors. We over capacity. Nobody else can come back in. My man was like,
Stephanie Mills said it. Niggas.
Yo, and the party was like, it might have been like twice as many people in there, 1,500 or so. It's like 900 people. And they had a DJ, who was from New York. And he had moved down south right before he came to college. And he used to play all the joints. And he always started his parties off with why am I having a brain freeze? Tell me. With
Groove Theory, yeah.
Groove Theory. He would always, I don't know why, but he was like, it's just a good vibe starter. And he would start it off with Tell Me, like just the beat drop. And then he wouldn't even stay there long. He might stay there 45 seconds and then he'd transition into the next song. But like, he always started his nights off like that.
But you know, you get everybody with that. Like you can get them. We got you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Everybody love the song and everybody knows it.
Just more R&B than hip hop. Because I played R&B all the time when I was by myself. Like that's what I, but you know, if I'm like walking around campus and trying to keep my energy up for the day, like I'm playing hip hop. But sometimes you might pull my headphones off and be like, this nigga listening to the Guy record or the Jodeci record, or, you know, like if you go through my CD case, I'm probably got, if it's 100 CDs in there, it's probably 80 R&B records.
These people will never know about some famous CD cases, man.
The CD Logic, man.
Like so many CDs and this is awesome, yo.
The CD game is heavy as well.
I still got like in the garage. I probably got like 800 CDs.
Dang.
Radar got like 200 of mine in his crib. I had to go pick up because he was transferring all the files to his. I'm like, yo, I know you want these records for your DJing.
Yeah.
So he was transferring them to his hard drive. So I took like 200 over there. I got to go get back from him. But like, yeah, man, I'm trying to figure out. I transferred them to a terabyte hard drive, but like, I don't know what to do with the CDs. They just sitting in the garage. But I'm like, I'm not throwing them away. That's not happening. That's music. Like, no, man. And I'm not doing that. Like, and like, we don't own our music.
If you looking to sponsor somebody's music habit, send them out.
Look at you.
I'm looking for sponsors.
Yeah, because like we don't own our music no more like that. Like everything is streaming. We rent it. We don't really like. The minute I start paying Spotify or Tidal or something, I don't have access to my music on my playlist no more. So it's like I'm not getting rid of those CDs.
Yeah.
Like I'm like.
And all my CDs I've had ever, I have them all on a hard drive. Like
I got all of it on the hard drive.
I don't have all the CDs anymore. I don't have a lot of the CDs anymore, but I mean, I still got a bunch of CDs, but it's a lot gone, you know, over the years, moving, you know.
But you saved the music on the hard drive, so you still
I have all that music digitally.
Yeah, but like I told somebody asked the other day, they was like, name a popular album that you never bought that you probably should have, and I was like, shit, every song since streaming started. Every album since streaming started, I stopped buying albums because
I saw you on that thread, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I was that dude in the record store every week spending $50, $60 on CDs. Like I bought it because I had my measuring stick was this. Me and my homeboy George, our measuring stick was this. Because at the time you could buy CD singles, right? And if you bought a CD single or a single whatever, it's like $3 for to buy it. You could get an album for $10. We was like, yo, if you got at least 3 to 4 records on there, we buying your album. Because if I buy all of them as singles, I bought your record, but I only got those 3 or 4 songs. So like I'm gonna buy your entire album, and hopefully I find other album cuts that I like. Yeah, so like that's how we measured like a good album. It was like, all right, they got 4 or 5 records I really like. I'm gonna buy the album. That's how I bought Life, his first album. When I first heard his album, I bought Life Jennings. Yeah, Life Jennings. I was like, he turned into a dickhead, but that first album was fire. I mean, he did. But I mean, I know, they just say never meet your, well, I ain't gonna say that nigga's a hero because he wasn't, but never meet your favorites as far as like.
Yeah,
which is, yeah, man. Like, I know we talk about R&B. I just had a convo about Kanye and the Genius doc. And I was telling one of my dudes, I was like, I hate this doc came out now because I feel like with all the vitriol that Kanye has given us over the last few years, I feel like this doc will make people sympathetic with him again. He don't deserve our sympathy to a certain extent.
I agree.
You know, because with the shit he's done and said. And I hate, like, the doc is dope. I watched it. I think it's an incredible doc. At least the first 2 episodes are amazing because I'm a person that, like Radar and them will tell you, I like being in the studio watching the music be created. Like, that's my favorite process. So I watch artists go in the studio and go from concept to song. And that's the amazing part. So watching them document the creation of the College Dropout was like absolutely amazing to me. I don't know if you guys seen the doc yet.
I haven't yet.
I would say watch it, just, you know, because if you're a music head like that, like we are, like I know you guys are, that process would be Kanye's annoying with his, you could tell he's this ain't new. The guy we're seeing is just, he has a bigger platform. But to see them document the process of recording College Dropout, like the session where he did with Jamie Foxx was insane. To see the raw footage that they actually filmed that became a part of the Through the Wire, you know, video was dope. And like Cootie and Chike did a really incredible job. Matter of fact, Naima hosted a room on Friday on Clubhouse where she talked to them. And a lot of the cats that were instrumental to the creation of that album with Kanye. But yeah, I was just telling them like how when you see the real them, somebody asked me around that time, and it was like, after I watched the doc, it was like, well, how do you rank his first 3 records? And I was like, oh, you know, probably Late Registration, College Dropout, Graduation, or some order like that. And I was like, you know what, I hadn't heard his records in a while. Let me go back and listen to them. And they don't hit the same because of his behavior and how I watched.
Mentality, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm hearing him differently now. Like when I heard him say, I faked the backpacker thing, the backpack rapper thing. And I just used it because he claimed he's from the streets, but he didn't kill anybody. He ain't from the streets. I know niggas that grew up with him. He's not from the streets. But it's like, you know, now it's so disingenuous with the things that he's saying. It's like when you hear that stuff now, it's like the music don't hit the same for me like it did when I first heard the record.
Yeah, and one of my things is when you it don't hit the same for me because when back then it was things he was saying and you took it as funny or him being like ridiculous or silly, and then you realize like a lot of those things he meant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this song don't mean the same thing anymore.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't know if you saw
Like
the post that. Did you see the post that Skills put on IG today about the doc?
Mm-mm.
So Skills posted today, and he was saying how. Matter of fact, I just sent it to Radar on them actually, but he posted and he talked about. He was like, "Yeah, I seen the doc, and it was pretty cool and all, but he was like, he saw something different." So I just read it to you. He was like, I watched the Genius doc and I thought it was cool, but I probably was most impressed with the fact that Cootie had all that footage, and it was cool to see the actual shots from the Through the Wire video, which is what I said in their original form. But more than anything, what I took away from it was how much Mos and Kweli helped Kanye early on. I was on Rawkus Records at the time, and those 2 guys were the hottest artists that label had, period. But more than anything, they were genuine dudes. So to see them co-sign Kanye, campaign for him, introduce him at shows, put their audience onto him, stand on stage and name his placements, let him spit a verse, say his name in verses. He said proposed to do a whole project with him, buy his beats because they didn't have to at the time because they had high tech. He said, and he ended up talking like this about them. It's so crazy to me. He said, if it was anyone who believed in him early on, it was Talib and Mos. And he said, I saw it. And he's like, y'all saw Genius. I saw someone who shitted on the people who genuinely wanted him to win after he surpassed them in popularity. And that tells me everything I need to know. He said, before you use that excuse that they always use about him, he said, I'm a bipolar Gemini too. And that's not an excuse to do your friends like this, but to be honest, to let him tell that he was never their friend. And I was like,
yeah. And it's a shame that sometimes, I mean, in all genres of music, to where sometimes like you try to separate the personal and the music, whatever.
It's
But
hard.
but there's a certain point at which you can't turn your head anymore.
It's a hard line.
Yeah.
It's a hard line, right?
Tune it out anymore, and you're like, okay,
Like
yeah,
R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Like with R.
Yeah.
Kelly, we couldn't.
yeah,
tune it
people
out.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and Kanye reached that hard line where you like, I can't do
I
this.
can't turn my head anymore.
Yeah, and like people talk about
Now
his
I
record.
feel complicit, you know.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Perfect word. And you know, people talk about his, like, I have younger homies that talk about his new records, and I'm like, I don't listen anymore because I can't.
Yeah.
Oh man, but the record's dope, man. He's still a dope producer. And I was like, oh, I mean, okay. I don't care anymore though. Like I just don't, man. Because like you said, I feel complicit in it all if I support that, and I can't support that. You know, and it kind of like shocked me when I heard his first records again this weekend, actually. And I was like, I'm probably not gonna come back to these records anymore because I'm done with them, you know. So yeah, man, but nonetheless, I know we off topic.
It's okay. We need to start a show where we just bring Victor on and we just talk about
right. Like we should have brought him on and just talk about the whole damn album, honestly. So we could
Man, I love music.
Yeah,
man.
I think next time we have to bring him back for a whole album.
For a whole album, Victor. We getting you a whole album. Forget that.
Word?
So start thinking. You start thinking about it and think of 2 or 3 ideas you have, and we'll pick one of them.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Whole albums. It can be the era doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. I'll start thinking because after our first show I did with y'all, the first episode I did with y'all, I was like, man, they got me thinking like, what other records did I love here growing up? Because like, I was running all kind of songs in my head. I would think about when I first heard Phil Perry's "Call Me," and I was a young kid. I was like 15. I was like, that's an old nigga I was listening to.
He ain't a lot, probably.
Yeah, like I be listening to all kind of records, man, and I think about Surface and all those names, man, start popping in my head. I just started listening to those records from just the conversations we had. And I was playing all kind of 90s, late 80s, 90s records. My homegirl had me playing Chucky Booker. Was it Chucky Booker? Yes.
Turned Away.
Yep, Turned Away. Yeah, that shit. I had that record on repeat for 2 days, man.
I wanna come on Cassette Minis and talk about I want to talk about Turned Away. I want to be on this show. I said this is like the second episode. I want to be on the show. I want to come and talk about Turned Away by Chucky Booker.
Well, I want to talk about Games by Chucky Booker. You know I love that record. So can I come on the show?
Maybe I have to bring Victor as a co-host.
I'll be the host and y'all talk about y'all record. How about that?
Yeah, I like that. Let's do that.
For real.
Y'all be the guest.
Victor, you're going to be the host.
I mean
that.
I'll
be the guest.
We're going to make it.
We're going to make that happen.
I'm down with that. Yeah, but Turned Away is my shit, though. I ain't gonna front. Yeah. I love Games, too, though. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Going like what?
Games.
Girl, please.
I'm kidding. No, he loved it.
I love that record. What?
He loved that record.
That's a top 5 record for me, period. So.
I was being funny.
Oh, no, I knew you were. I was talking to I don't pay you no mind. But I saw
you say, girl, please. He blew you off fast. Like, yeah, stop it.
He's like, nobody even talking to you, girl.
Nah, man, I'm down, man. Like, I love what you guys are doing, like I said. So,
thanks so much.
R&B that's my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you go to my Spotify and start looking at my playlist, you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see, man. I'll be up 2:00 in the morning, be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna make a playlist about this. Might be a theme, might be.
No wonder we're friends, because that's me all day.
Every day, man. Like my Harper be like, Daddy, you a night owl.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Harper, I'm a night owl. Yeah, that little girl, man. I tell y'all, she playing the piano. She taking piano lessons.
Okay.
Yeah. And her mom said she was in the car the other day and she was listening to she listened to music all the time. And she said that she was sitting there listening to the songs, trying to identify the different instruments in the song.
Wow.
And she was like, what is that? I was like, she's developing her ear. Like, I was shocked that she did. I was like, oh, but she literally is listening to the songs like, okay, that's the piano, that's the drums, because she wants to play drums too. Like,
You might have a little prodigy on your hands there, sir.
you see, man, she when she went to take her first piano lesson, she was waiting for her class to start, and this dude, the drum teacher, was playing around. He ain't had nobody. She was like peeking in the window. He was like, called her in there, and she got on there and started like doing the drums and stuff. Like, and she was like, well, I want to play the drums. I was like, well, you gotta learn how to play the piano first. Like, that's the foundational instrument. I said, learn how to play the piano, and then whatever instrument you want to play after that, I'll pay for it. So after she she's been like a month and a half on the piano lessons, and she likes it, likes her teacher. So now, after she gets proficient in that, then I'll let her transition to the drums. And then she told Radar's her godfather. She told Radar she wants to DJ. So he said, when you're ready to learn how to DJ, I'll teach you how to DJ. Like, she's dead serious about being a DJ. Like, she's like, I want to be a DJ girl, like, for real. I was like, it's levels, you're 7, we got to get you there, but you got resources to do that. So, and she asked Brandy Younger to teach her how to play the harp.
Wow.
Kid is all over the place, man, but whatever she want to learn, though, we didn't get those opportunities. I didn't get those opportunities growing up, so I told her if she's serious about practicing and learning everything, like, I'll support it. So we're gonna see. But yeah, man, but I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. I appreciate y'all having me on here.
Yeah,
We love it. Oh, we love it.
Yeah, man, definitely. I definitely want to be y'all host when y'all talk about Chucky Booker.
Yes, we gotta do that, y'all. She can talk about tournament, and I can talk about games. Yes.
Yeah, definitely, man. That'll be a good one, man.
Boom.
But I definitely think about what you suggested too, man. I wouldn't mind going through a whole album, talking about the whole album.
Yeah, just let us know when you think of something that hits you.
Yeah, when I think of something,
Go and look and see which ones we have done.
Oh yeah, I go look at the roster and see what
we
y'all
had guests that want to talk about something. It was like, oh yeah, see, we already talked about that.
We already talked about that. Yeah, no, I look at the list before I decide. I go run through the list on YouTube. But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all having me, man. I know y'all got something at 8:00, right? Did y'all have something at 8:00?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 8:04. So I know y'all 8:05. I know y'all got to go.
We just yes, but thank you.
Try to keep y'all on time, man. I know I can talk all day, so I'm gonna shut up.
It's all good.
But yeah,
thank you, Victor, and we thank our viewers. Like, click, subscribe, share it with your folks that you think will appreciate it, and we'll catch y'all on the next Catch That.
All right, guys. You have a good evening, man. I'll talk to y'all later.